I'm here to talk to you about the Hollowing King hollowing tool. Now, in the midst of designing this tool, I always had it in mind that it needed to be a simple tool to use. That anybody that wanted to do some hollowing of some kind could pick up one of these tools and do some hollowing, and it would come out like they were a professional. Okay. And that's what I believe is accomplished with this tool. Just recently, I was doing a demonstration in Seattle, and two different people came up to me while I was doing the 3-day demo, and they said the same thing, and it was a very big compliment. And that very same thing was, your tool is like cheating. It's just so easy and so accurate, and so everything about it is as you say, it's safe, accurate, speedy, everything. So it's not that it's a magical tool or anything. There's no magic to it, of course. It is just a simple tool to use. Making a bowl, this thing is an excellent tool for bowl making. And I have a DVD here about bowl making, and this just tells you what you need to know. Don't look for any long instructions on the actual use of it, because there just isn't. It would be like explaining how to use a pencil to somebody. It's so simple that it's like you're turning around trying to figure out what you've missed. You're really not missing anything. It's just that simple. Once you learn how to use the calipers, this tool is pretty self-explanatory. I want to set up a classroom that if you have questions on parting off, if you have questions on how to parting off and finishing the bottom of a piece, and perhaps we'll do classes for the YouTube. So all you have to do is click on Paul Crabtree, and these videos will be up, especially on YouTube. When a person wants to do some hollowing, probably shouldn't have to do a setup and remember how to do that for the tool to work its hollowing stuff. You should be able to pick it up and start hollowing. When you're hollowing, when you start off hollowing with this, you always drill a hole to the depth that you want in the piece. I always do that, whether I want to drill or want to hollow something out that's an inch deep or 14 or 18 inches deep, it doesn't matter. I always drill my pilot hole, and that gives me the depth that I want to go to, and that prevents me from having to worry about it as I'm doing my hollowing. And it also just makes it a lot easier. You have this tip on here, and a hole, a pilot hole, makes it so you can grab that hole with this tip and move the material out of there a lot easier and faster. But you don't use the spring on that. You do the spring after you go all the way down, straight down, and then you put this so the round part is showing, and you hollow out. I like to hollow out anywhere from like 3/4 of an inch. Unless I get chicken, then I'll do an inch, and that's pretty easy. When you take the spring rod out, make sure that you snug the screws down because they will vibrate out and you'll lose them. This is how you more or less have the blade set to do the major hollowing or removal of the material in there. And then you, once you get that done, down to about 3/4 of an inch thick all the way around, then you can put your spring rod back in. Let me address sharpening a little bit. The rule of thumb is how I was taught, and I still go by it because it's a good rule, is if you think you might need to sharpen your blade, you probably do. So if you think about it, you go ahead and sharpen it. Now, let's take this piece here. I already have this open so I can get my tool down in there, okay? So I want to really bypass this part of it if I can, because you're going in and out and you don't want to get it down to where your finished product is and then hit it with the blade going in or out. So you want to leave that product there. You want to leave that neck and throat as thick as you can and still be able to work on your vessel. So I start off right here is where I start hollowing to take it down to where it's a finish. And this is about how you would set it up right here. This would just simply go in, and you would have your spring there, and you would take the material off of here, and then I go past the shoulder part, okay? And I start maybe here, and I go down all the way here. Now, remember the hole that you drilled in this for the depth? So you get down here, and you have a little bit of a berm. You don't even really need the calipers anymore because you have established the depth of the vessel here. You've established the depth, and you established you have the wall thickness where you want it. You have a little bit of a berm here, okay? So you can take off half of it, the berm. Just take off half of it. Check it out, make sure everything's good. And you can also set up the calipers there to see just how thick you are if you want to, or you can use the calipers, okay? So you finish this out, and then you come back up, and you go from here on out. Or you can start and work it both ways, so you have a nice even neck here. Now you might want to leave this a little bit thicker, because remember, this is a dry piece. You're going to have some tear out. So you want to leave enough meat in there to sand it down so it's not really thin. You want to leave this part here also a nice thickness, just to give it some body to the piece. The website is www.toolsbycrabtree.com. The email is 5hmtools@gmail.com. My phone number is 253-273-2147, and it's also on YouTube.